Have you been wondering about the daily work routine of the president?
I think every day when you wake up, go to the office and see whether the departments are responding to or taking part or doing their responsibility as well. And himself also, is his job to see that everything in the country is normal, because if the situation is unrest, he cannot relax. So the basic job for the president to see that the atmosphere is conducive for all the citizens in the country.
For someone who starts his day as early as 7:45 in the morning, is probably the busiest man in the country. In order to bring the presidency closer to the people, the Office of the President, in collaboration with GRTS, presents the President's Diary, a monthly TV program that highlights the President's official engagements in pursuit of the National Development Plan.
It is only by working together that Africa can attain sustainable peace and stability. These were the words of President Barrow at the 5th International Forum on Peace and Security in Dakar, Senegal. Welcome to the President's Diary. My name is Mfalli Fadera and my co-presenter is Zainab Fall. Also coming up in this edition is the President's surprise visit to several Gambian-owned hotels in the tourism development area ahead of the beginning of the tourism season. We'll also look at the President's diplomatic engagements, among a host of others. For these and many more, please stay tuned. My name is Mfalli Fadera.
And I am Zainab Fall. Thanks for joining us.
In the first week of November, President Adama Barrow traveled with a high-level government delegation to Dakar, Senegal, where he attended the 5th International Forum on Peace and Security. President Barrow was received on arrival at the Léopold Sédar Senghor International Airport by his Senegalese counterpart Macky Sall and the French Minister of the Armed Forces, Florence Parly. Shortly before he delivered his remarks at the event hosted at the Abdou Diouf International Conference Center, President Barrow was taken on a conducted tour of the premises, particularly the arts and culture area of the complex, which exhibits Senegalese cultural and historical artifacts. In his address, the President extolled the harmonious relations between the Gambia and Senegal as a catalyst for the maintenance of peace and stability in both countries. He said peaceful coexistence and good neighborliness between countries is quite sacrosanct for securing regional peace and stability, as demonstrated by the Gambia and Senegal, something other African countries can learn from. It is only by working together, he said, that Africa can attain sustainable peace and stability. Here is an excerpt of his speech.
In Africa, we have committed ourselves to silencing the guns on the continent and security, nationally, regionally, and globally. For us in the Gambia, the priorities of our National Development Plan 2018-2021
de notre plan national de
développement,
de notre plan triennal de développement 2018-2021 s'articule sur le renforcement de la paix.
In this regard, our civil society plays a crucial role in peace building, institutional reforms, and people-centered approaches will continue to inform our peace-building efforts. To revive our economy, we have successfully adopted efficient physical and microeconomic policies and strategies. These are encouraging local businesses to borrow and invest without fears. The budget support agreements concluded with our development partners have accorded my government renewed optimism for economic growth and development.
President Barrow called on leaders to give particular attention to providing adequate resources, training, and operational capabilities to law enforcement agents to be able to effectively address all security threats in our communities.
Normally, weekends are moments that working people take time off official duties to relax and spend time with their families. Well, that's not the case for President Barrow, who uses the weekend to work. Earlier in November, he embarked on an unannounced visit to several Gambian-owned hotels in the tourism development area to inspect works and preparations ahead of the tourism season. He was received by the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Honorable Ahmad Nkeba, and the Environment Minister Lamin Diba and officials from the Gambia Tourism Board. President Barrow highlighted the government's policy to encourage more Gambian involvement in the tourism sector in a bid to ensure more benefits for ordinary Gambians. According to him, increased Gambian investment in the industry will be in line with the government's plan to limit capital flights, boost Gambian involvement at the highest levels, and foster a strong linkage between tourism and other domestic sectors of the Gambian economy, such as agriculture, business, arts and culture, amongst others. Work at 3 of the 4 hotels were at an advanced stage of construction. One of them, Metsi Residence Hotel, owned by Mr. Musa Seka, is built to be inaugurated next month. 3 others are expected to begin operations early next year. Male Sala, Chief Executive Officer of the 140-room Pamala Hotel, a 4-star hotel that is part of the Jaliba Lezo Group, while taking the delegation on tour of the hotel and its facilities, explained that they hired some Gambian hotel professionals from abroad to come work for them. The furniture is exclusively made in the Gambia using top-class wood to make the highest standards for the hotel. Minister of Tourism Ahmad Ba explained that the objective of the government is to support and promote Gambian ownership in the industry. According to him, the ones visited will provide top-class services, expressing optimism that their presence would add a great value to the industry. The talk culminated into a bit cleaning exercise aimed at raising awareness and encourage more cleanliness on the country's pristine beaches in the protection of marine resources in our ecosystem.
Have you been wondering about the daily work routine of the president?
I think every day when you wake up, go to the office and see whether the departments are responding to or taking part or doing their responsibility as well. And himself also, is his job to see that everything in the country is normal, because if the situation is unrest, he cannot relax. So the basic job for the president to see that the atmosphere is conducive for all the citizens in the country.
For someone who starts his day as early as 7:45 in the morning, is probably the busiest man in the country. In order to bring the presidency closer to the people, the Office of the President, in collaboration with GRTS, presents the President's Diary, a monthly TV program that highlights the President's official engagements in pursuit of the National Development Plan.
Let us now shift our attention to diplomatic engagements of the President in the last month. In a flurry of diplomatic activities at the State House in Banjul, on Tuesday, 13th November 2018, His Excellency President Barrow received 4 new diplomatic envoys accredited to the Gambia. Diplomats from Sierra Leone, China, Cuba and India were the first to take turns to present their letters of credence to the President in what was a busy week of hectic diplomatic engagements. Since coming to power barely 2 years ago, ending the Gambia's global isolation has been at the heart of President Barrow's foreign policy goals. States all over the globe have responded positively, establishing political and economic ties with the country. The High Commissioner of the Republic of Sierra Leone, High Excellency Lucretia Marian Sarif, was the first in the lineup of diplomats to meet President Barrow. A career educationist with over 30 years' experience in teaching, she expressed joy for being designated to the Gambia in a diplomatic capacity, adding that her focus will be on strengthening educational ties between the two countries, among other areas of interest. President Barrow thanked her country for the mediatory role it played during the Gambia's diplomatic crisis. According to him, he and President Marabio are considered to be part of the new crop of democratic leaders in the sub-region. Hence, their focus should be on promoting integration, democracy, and youth empowerment. His Excellency Ma Jianchung, the new Chinese ambassador in Banjul, was the next to call on President Barrow. Mr. Jianchung comes from a commercial background and has up to 15 years' experience as a commercial diplomat in Africa and the Middle East. He promised to work with the government of the Gambia in consolidating bilateral ties in the framework of the development blueprint that emanated from the 2018 Forum for China-Africa Cooperation Summit in Beijing, commonly known as FOCAC. President Barrow, in extending best wishes to President Xi Jinping, expressed hope for the new China-Gambia relations. He also expressed delight that a contractor has already been identified for the 2 bridges and highways, which is funded by China, to be constructed in the Upper River region. President Barrow also received the Indian High Commissioner to the Gambia, Rajiv Kumar. After receiving his letter of credence, President Barrow expressed appreciation for the support given by India to the Gambia, especially in the areas of education, agriculture and infrastructure. He particularly thanked the country for the construction of the National Assembly building in Banjul. Value addition to local produce, technological innovations and health service deliveries are high on the government's development blueprint, the National Development Plan, President Barrow said, adding that technology is also a great tool for the empowerment of the youth. While urging India to open a diplomatic mission in the Gambia to foster closer diplomatic ties between the two governments and peoples, the President highlighted that India is currently the biggest exporter of cashew nuts from the Gambia. Ambassador Rajiv Kumar spoke to the State House Media Corps after the presentation and said his discussion with the President touched on the Gambia's seaport expansion and development. According to him, the Gambia's strategic location makes it a more preferred gateway for most West African traders.
The ambassador of Cuba, His Excellency Ruben Gracia Abelenda, also met the President to present his letter of credence. During the closed-door session, the President thanked the Cuban leader through its ambassador for standing with the Gambia in its most difficult times. Cuba provided support to the health sector by deploying doctors to the Gambia and training Gambian doctors in Cuba. Ambassador Abelenda thanked the Gambia for standing in solidarity with Cuba over the years. President Barrow continues to emphasize agricultural value addition and the need for international peace and reconciliation as he received more diplomats from South Africa and Israel to present their letter of credence at the State House in Banjul. In a closed-door meeting, President Barrow said South Africa's difficult transition to democracy is similar to that of the Gambia, and the Gambia can learn a lot from them, particularly the TRRC. He further told the envoy that South Africa needs to demonstrate commitment to African integration for the benefit of all her peoples. He expressed readiness of his government to work with South Africa and others to make the continent the best in the world. For Israel, the president advocated for peace in the Middle East and urges the two sides to come to the negotiation table in an effort to dialogue a way out of the long-standing war. It is only through dialogue that you can bring an end to conflicts of any given situation, he said. He recalled his meeting with President Netanyahu on the sidelines of the ECOWAS summit held in Togo a few months ago. The two leaders discussed economic progress and agricultural value addition in support of his government's national development plan. Ambassador Roy Rosenblit, on his part, expressed the goodwill of his government in supporting the Gambia in attaining the goals outlined in the National Development Plan 2018-2021. For the Vatican envoy, Monsignor Dajebesto Campos, based in Monrovia and accredited to the Gambia, the Vatican and the Gambia shared a good diplomatic relation. During discussions, President Barrow emphasized the importance of religion in society. He also talked about the contribution of the Catholic mission in areas of health, education and agriculture in the Gambia. He said through their interventions, thousands of people were impacted positively in the country and beyond. The Polish envoy, Mrs. Margareta Kasangana, based in Dakar and accredited to the Gambia, announced that her government will soon open an honorary consul in the Gambia with hopes of renewing long relations that existed between the two countries. Mrs. Margareta maintained that the Gambia and Poland can do a lot by working together during this moment of transition for the country. Poland also went through such a transition over 30 years ago, and the envoy said they are committed to sharing experiences with the Gambia.
Still on the diplomatic engagements, His Excellency President Adama Barrow on November 23rd received General Cheikh Gueye, the Senegalese Chief of Defense Staff at the State House in Banjul. General Gueye, along with a team of Senegalese military officials and the economic commander, was accompanied to the presidency by General Yankuba Dramé, the Deputy Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces. President Adama Barrow, in receiving the delegation, expressed delight at seeing the Senegalese defense chief and team, describing it as a further testimony of the Senegal-Gambia brotherhood. President Barrow explained that the cordial relations that exist between the Gambia and Senegal heads of state augurs well for the future of both countries. He noted the investment made by Senegal in the peace and stability of the Gambia, especially since the Gambia's political crisis. The president went further to explain that when the history of the new Senegambia relations will be recorded, General Cheikh Gueye and his men and those of the Gambian armed forces will be mentioned for their gallantry and courage in preserving the peace and stability of the Gambia during those stirring times. Speaking to the State House press corps after his meeting with the president, General Gueye said he was in Banjul to pay a routine visit on his troops as a contingent of the West African Peacekeeping Force on the ground, commonly known as ECOMIG. These routine visits, he said, serves as a great moral booster for the men as they execute their mandate in maintaining stability in the Gambia.
The Secretary General of the OIC Secretariat, the national body tasked with the responsibility to host the 2019 organization of the Islamic Conference Summit in the Gambia, has given an emphatic assurance that the country is on track to organize the global event successfully. Mr. Lamin Sane made the comments after a closed-door meeting between His Excellency President Adama Barrow and a technical team from the OIC headquarters in Jeddah, led by the Special Advisor of the Secretary General of the OIC. The team is currently in the country to assess the level of readiness and preparation on the ground ahead of the high-level meeting next year. Secretary General Sane tells us more about their level of preparedness.
Terra's function is two. One is to mobilize resources and to support the government to implement the priority projects, which I've already highlighted several times. That one we are on course. We are mobilizing resources for that. You could see that that's why these people are coming and going. We have the Turkish delegation also around. Tomorrow we have the Saudi Minister for Africa Affairs, who was here some time back, coming back to visit us, to update us, so to see what we're going. So we are on track. As far as we are concerned, whatever is required from the Gambian part, we've done. We are doing it. If you're talking about the projects very soon, we are at the pre-qualification stage for the road, the water, electricity, even the extension of Battle Hardin is part of the projects we are working on. But these things takes time. And I want to assure Gambians that we are in the mood of development. We need to be very, very patient. There is no need to rush. There is life after the summit. I think it's important we take our time, we do these things right.
The Heads of State and the Government Summit of the OIC is the largest gathering of world leaders.
Have you been wondering about the daily work routine of the president?
I think every day when you wake up, go to the office and see whether the departments are responding to taking part or doing their responsibility as well. And himself also, is his job to see that everything in the country is normal, because if the situation is unrest, he cannot relax. So the basic job for the president to see that the atmosphere is conducive for all the citizens in the country.
For someone who starts his day as early as 7:45 in the morning, is probably the busiest man in the country. In order to bring the presidency closer to the people, the Office of the President, in collaboration with GRTS, presents the President's Diary, a monthly TV program that highlights the President's official engagements in pursuit of the National Development Plan.
ولا ياس من قربه وإن بعد لمدى قد يستحى كما في عبد الله وتصدى فاجري فأني أنصر أرافق تبارك ربي قصاب فليبدأ وزننا دنيا دانية قصده وسيروا كيما يقلد مجده تلج به لأنصار في الأزر وادم وكوسو أنقوى barodi masakunda onan kawi support na akon tolbe mbele nyantan na nyantole mo ka barona la masakunda ka support wajibu nyan o munna wajibole kebe gani yere haledi men tartanu njan ko manto adi masakunda anala masakunda o kuanti awase o makala hay tolle ko akanyanta manna sula la koteke oda ko chensedi ngak bero fay oda baro sagara nga baro tombo akara masakunda sigindi president baro masakunda londi kendi wajibu nyane o kudanga no gara sigindi woto ninta atara kontolle alondi wajibo le mun toliye ko adi mansakunda anala mansakunda ona nya halle ngatara ko manga support agana succeed nas kanata succeeda o suan succeed tol bele be succeed la bari agama succeed na man succeed o suani de na malutan tol bele be fala malola because ora ken jikke kita ora dangin nga wojji ko le soto ato nga tombo nga tambindi kenya ne wakati ona kinyanga ko yatinna konsi bin sifuta jang ona ken ko yanga ngawo itandila andam mansakunda inila mansakunda hakara golle be joppa aliye do ku bamen dati arna kinyande duwala alama alayati man arna killen ko alama silo itandila men seneyata ando wari ammo wari o wa halle andam mansakunda to korosi ko may manje bang barin tolbe la mansakunda ko ma dum bele be lori ko man be support
donc sonen ko ngese wonde nyani lenki
akosara hulolu binte ben na sewo bungoleto
nge alla ndi nyas kabila no sikki sereng
ala lente tobo ayenke kabila sabola moluti
adi nyamal linken
ayenke mandin goti fala
adi nya hullenga
ayenke fuloti
adi nya sonen ken
ayenke sara hulo fanati
sonen ko ko adi koroni
adu sara hulo lente kulu fana
aga serebe ga dan korondi
meye kulu
kenya na jikun
wole daji kondi
donc onke
woto adama baro
sonin kan jikku nyani
akate de adaji ko musara hule daji ko
aga mannim singa ko sonin ko ma
mannim sa sara huloli akulu
mannim si
amannim sa woto
nga ko sonin kondi
dira akulu ta sara hulol to
hinu sik
ku saba
ndakun kitano
ayo soto je
hi hanan ni kebe
ku folo
mare
ay kulu soto
ndaken kitano
ayo soto je
hillandinga ni kebe
ulanja mo muneti
nda dinan kitano
nda dino fana sota sene ari wosat
ndaku kita sonin kara
nganyulu soto sara hule kundale de
aka kuni hinu ay
adun julu mu quality
mangankara
foye fa
kunyina ma
lulube bulule ibuka kana mola
Allah wanyini dingara naka sinkita
sitara dulato e kodo jama soto
kaske na nyeme
kodo si bang
bari ngada kubenu konti yere
ara e mennu konti dino ni daji koto
sikandi
ako sabanjango
kenni barke nyi
wole mu barakota yo fana
di sonin ko
oto sara hulolu
ndiga men dalato no
akonna kumote siala
naka nuari
bali ni mbarala
nanti sewo
nsa fo kon sewota
daru
kuno
soronya marke jamani
wolle nyim banko mara
ngani president sikandi
dele mo sabanjango ti president wol kono al bulo diala
ngani president sikandinga
dele president sabanjango ti
bare kado president be ga taw
bara nim alnim president men sinota
kanna sorinda nan ta kana
satara kanna sorla mantaral tema
kenninga
ko adama barol jal bulo diala
angana har Tokyo
hanna tara be Tokyo le
anga China
ibe China
anna bosto punyaiba
bosto boleto
anna killenya diba
silole kan
angara seremu gara soni kan kannen ko da
o mo ya sara hole kan fo doron
anyana mare men
o be kele baadi wolati
wara gara kanne be
ay kan o men fo
donc o ga kambane ke konno
be kan kili wole fola
kendo nya hibane nyai
ke ku kili wolati
kendo nya hibane nyai
ke ku kili wolati
bar hibane na soni ko nya mare ken
ku kili ngom bali ya marra ku kili fanala
soni ko
sara hulolu
gol jangana nyana kay
almu do kulalleti
kasi nga kama
ko do bali bulo
daru
kuno
maro
mano
sukuru
te
tulo ana gambian ko nyakitin
wo be gambian ko le la bulo kono
bari lenki
bari bi
kencenci
asanseta
aka ngatu
adu ngalo
a capacity nga kama
aliya sembo
atu aku nga kama
alondo bal bulo
aka singa kama
ada ko do bal bulo
onanya bani
nga ke kilenti
ke jamane economy ona control
banko la economy nga control
a chance nga kama
a chance o bal bulo de
lenki nan ko to sugari gambia no
bela membe tambita gambia ja
kendi wallahi kana ka kitello golle kedi
ali bulo ke do ko to
donc ngalay soni nguku ona ngakle
ali akata
ona nkahi
ali ngaka
ona nya partner nun
ke partner kilindi ngake ter kili
ona katu gollini
sido ko keno
ona jamane ke ona de ngakani
ko de nga sambanyato
mukunu
ako luntangolu
sorotananu
mo ko tangolu
kula wodema
on sindema
bay golle ke mina nya na golle ke timmandi
ka timmandi
o ko ani ken
ko fangol le nyanta wakela
Lamin Cham imo salminamo ati wala mi cham ka regional chairperson be janne
o gani imbanke nga nangiri tundul ku kamma iswaire kala wondo yese be ka yiwande ila tundu yini yese jede fo yibe ka ibe salmina wala ko
constituency chairperson be janne
kala wondo dew feragol kaaje kala leydi ko feragol kawje yese jede ambe no ga ko ga ke ko ci te nyen kamma iswaire kana ko ma yiwa asbuye
alkalo be janne
e de ko mayre jargaji di noga
almamol be janne ani majil sikunda tonkolu
awi jargaji di noga yeso be noga almami be noga almami do de ko may soire wala subuye
so kamala bi ben wala mu URR kolu
lenki menye ken URR ko nyaare be mo hande ko URR nabe wonika
wolle lunga nyini president bulu
ko ben dambi nyalande wonde mabbe fala yidi mawdo leydi ni kunyanda ko tamundu tukanyi ko magana tiwamu na ida na be wari leydi
kuru sina konton
kuro inara kunyi be wa ma arbe be salminango
inasi kacha ko dolla
be yewtira e piji ko bi ida na hidu jogo kacha
nga beoni nga hamele praita ni silolla
ina kya hammi kacha kenda ga tikilenga kuni be fale na lawol men jara hono fodi yane dow lawol.
Thank you very much, MC. Ketanya kontanoti anin CEO.
Uyo o weltike atanya ida nyamalenga.
Rukatari ni delegation kono member URR. The delegation is to the presidency is to show solidarity to the president and formally introduce the delegation. We are at the State House today to show our unflinching support and loyalty to you, Mr. President, and your government. We are also here to tell you our needs and constraints which are prevailing in the region. As far as this visit is concerned, the delegation comprises of Supreme Islamic Council members in URR, Imams, Madrasa and Majlis Owners, Council of Elders, Alika Lolu, women, youth, farmers, and of course politicians. It was intended for them to speak for themselves, voicing out their concerns and constraints that they are facing in their domains of responsibilities. For Supreme Islamic Council members, they are here to ensure Islam is developed in the Gambia, and in so doing, they face lots of difficulties, and they are here to let you know those problems. For Imams, they are the people who lead us in all our Islamic functions, and they too are here. They too are in our midst to put constraints on the table. There are constraints on the table. They are here, so they are ready to support and rally behind you, Your Excellency, and your government in the best interest of Islam and Islamic Ummah. Madrasa and Majlis are our grassroots Islamic schools, which are almost forgotten, especially the Majlis, in our national education context. In these settings, parents informally give their children to Majlis owners without any financial support. Sometimes you see over 100 students, talibes, with one Majlis owner, and it's obvious without help from government and partners, their life could be otherwise. They are here also with us to tell you, to let you know their constraints, Your Excellency. Also in our midst are politicians who sometimes complain of getting nothing, of getting anything, nothing of benefit from people they voted into office. They say they sing and dance for politicians and goes further to vote them into office, but to no avail. However, they are in much appreciation to your government stance or slogan that a Gambia for all. They definitely appreciate that slogan that your government is standing on, that is Gambia for all. They believe that this will bring Gambians on board, all Gambians on board, to develop Gambia irrespective of our political differences, and will let us forgive and forget the past for the betterment of the Gambia, our motherland. Council of Elders form an integral part of our cultural and traditional setting, which help a lot in settling disputes in our society. Your Excellency, they too are here they too are facing some problems, and they speak out. They are here to speak out those constraints. Alikalolus are here, and we all know their roles and responsibilities, but for their difficulties are best known to them, and they are here to let you know and your government those needs. Farmers, as we all know, are the providers of our homegrown food, and to meet the slogan of eat what you grow and grow what you eat, they need to be empowered, and to do this, you need to know their constraints from horse's mouth. For women and youth, they are the most essential part of our society, and they too are here to sit with you over a round table like this and discuss problems, Your Excellency, sir. The organizers of this solidarity visit to State House today, Mr. President, came with this initiative as URR has been supportive to all Gambian presidents. Why not our own son, brother, father, which is no other person but you, Your Excellency, Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, President of the Republic of the Gambia, and here we are. On that note, I thank you all for your kind attention.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Bimbe diamo men fola jan diamo soni arim bambe wala tambe.
Atina digan ne ko noyno ko nelenki hala o hala do hande.
Ndira diamo bi kamol ni mbara dro wolum tira diamo.
O jara imbe bentam atina kan war ngane.
Diamo men be nyanda fala be fola.
O ganga ko ni digame asiko ni kala ko fodo no hala de halama.
Na ministre mel bi jambe be konto.
Ministre yi wombe gawe mo salmina be fofu yo ministre no cukkuyi.
Hay tebulo nyin to jang ni alma mol mel bi jang.
Hay tebulo alma mi ko benu gane be alma mi wombe dowga.
Nyim mo bu ñaari won mel bi jang.
Be yimbe wombe dowga ku soro benu ga kammo kede soro parking do ko benu ga kammundi.
Ni aje won multa Adama Barrow le won mulindi be konton.
Angara ko ba kiri Adama Barrow andi kidi wa ko yini be yimbe do ono yimbe be ko fi Adama yimbe no mo no salminde.
You are the fem bora you are the.
You are kala iwro you are sen suka kiri you are.
Bi de jang kafo ni ani nyada ba.
Lengi kafo ke a haram boro siri ande kafo o moji o yoni.
Moy keta nyaawonya.
Woyne do ko wonda yo anganya on sere anganya mo homo.
E place o soto nyaawonya.
Anda place kita mo homo ka ka
ko. E londo soto nyaawonya.
A hebi gandal nyaawonya.
E la sembo warta nyaawonya.
A hebi dole nyaawonya.
E mu menti o mo dronde.
Ka woni kon ko dum tan wata woni. Base.
Ndela mansa ya kono.
Kanko nderi lamu mako ima chakuna kedi.
Ndela fasar la kono.
Itunga nyo kedi benuki hazani yasan danondi.
Ni ma mol ma base ko le nyaata do murula ko.
Soronga ma baso ko ngare kane tani soroji den halle. Itabe yan base nabe yeso tan imbe be ruto do bawo.
Bato base na la bi.
Base nabe so ari hande o agari lengi.
Ali en kamu jam fandi.
Ari hande ngilondi.
Ale Gambian ko fana frindi le bi.
Ala Gambian ko atu wasale.
Men ma hani no bi o be hani le.
E fuga ta sago, asago na kala mo susa ne o susa hande.
Me ya mi non ka fo badi den na be alon ka fo jaw badi mo.
Alo ay mi judo wonde ma wala mo ne kaka hande be andi.
Bari mo de kebe nyaawo nya ni be sara bondi la.
Ono ne do kala ko na yo ko sene ita sada.
Sada ni afolo ifo wala ko da ko.
Ita sada ende ke kalle made.
Janni na be fundi la ban.
Do ya yaltine mo kaya.
Mbari ma fu jani alay Musa Drame.
Ha kawma ko haali do alay Musa Drame.
Na moro diamo to jani Haydara.
Cerno ame haali do Haydara.
Ay silo la ko.
O haali fila ko.
Fato to ni basela silo kata koyna. Wo silo ndel buka wala gofo wari wo kola abandal sai do ko wala mina datika.
Fato to koyna o haala makko haala take o casino o kole de arata fudde joni.
Right now your contract total already minyanda do gogel.
Joni ni be jettino gollo fotudo gollude to.
Contract be bagaso kika na kika minister of works le.
E contract gollo do to imo nela gollo e no nela bagasi jidi aroro ko pour be golle on do on lawol.
Ate mela bagay bida foundation la la passé.
Me moya ta moja me wellene ton tufere gollo kadi batte.
Me silo nyi ndogula.
Be golle lawol.
Me salafulo nyi ndogula.
Be golle salaji dindi.
Andu contract membe lamin ko do passamas doguka.
Andu contract wondo gollo ne lamin ko do passamas.
Na dia mudale.
Be yewtine makko.
Ako janni ba fala January.
Do be na January.
Kilometer tansa do wala godro be wala ndila.
Kilometer ay chapade jetati o golle do o wone don godro.
Andu nani ta dia mo ko de.
O yewtine makko.
Ako janni abala masimol bondi la jema fawla.
O yido itay machine ni to.
Sila o sila be jema fawla.
Kala lawla wondo hende to.
Ndel sula da silo me alon ko len barata pour ka dogo.
Kambe be fala on lawla golle.
Ada silo nyi tala be Gambia Masakunda ba do tula la janal bolaji.
O yo nyawla o golle on lawla. O nyawla lamu na Masakunda Gambia do be wata won dilla.
Woto wullin kol ni sandu kol.
Wulli e sandu.
Kata kantora.
Aya kantora.
Al salon ka do ko wultale.
Ono ando golle immi.
2019. Nimbe tokela basse wati o wati.
Simo yila de passé.
Woto mo mbeba nyala nyonyala le.
On fa me fo me yiya me hollini ray.
Nintilo fundira mota so soro kelo.
Nange yalti ay godo wata yettido.
Nintilo fundida.
Di nange yalti.
So soro de kelo.
De nyande yettugol ala.
De malla fi diam jama kala de.
Me ona hala hewde de.
Diamo jama na fatal.
Diamo hewdo ala nafa.
Na do ko ke na fato wala.
Bari golle ko do woni dam.
Andu me do ko men farankele albaji la.
No golle ko be wadata o yiya.
Woto you are in call.
You are ara.
Bi ale men ke bi.
Ande ko wando hande.
Ah kuba ale wala ke bi.
Golle mawdo wadi.
Kanaka futam ma state house.
Ado hewdo state house.
Ka nyita nan del mal bari ngel mi bari ngol.
Me holla ma ko musudo am.
Ndel muy kafu ñol.
Ka wodo ka kafu ñol am.
Na ta kafu pour que banque do ko.
Me ara men hawta ma men golla leydi ni.
Woto mo kubalti.
E on ko ha ko golle ma.
O ko dañe kudi me alon ko no tari ko no dañina la wala.
O wonane mo hunde der tari ko mako yetti tanano.
Moda ni ko itela tamu nyimbeti.
Beto sebe ma ko anje o fop.
Ni mo Messi.
Yonade ma.
Hani ya be do mo fana Messi.
Ya be fo yonata.
O bi alsalum be kontaan rin.
Ando mo wetti.
Nsi biamu no jam fasama.
O way yewtude do hatam.
Ndemuru la ko.
O ya tabaw.
Oto Gambian kol.
Gambian na.
Basen kol.
Basen na.
Kuma fala jam bi.
Hala ko hala hande.
Alsalum ka fambe sewori mo lekati ko moñi fo. Oto mba tentula mba jeyi.
Iwa aktigana iwa akjakini.
Mba fala le ko.
Iwa kutina kada.
Kanwari.
Anwari.
Al nimbara.
On jarama.
On jarama.
On nimbara.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, that does it for this exciting edition of the President's Diary. Do join us next for a special end-of-year edition of the President's Diary. Zainab?
Thank you for the pleasure of your company, viewers. Do join us for the special edition of the President's Diary here on GRTS. Until then, it's a bye from us.